G'day guys. This is it's a video, the digital video, time lapse at 4 speeds. Original video was about 70 minutes. The character in question is Nyssa from the TV show Arrow, and the video that you're watching is for one of the tiers in Patreon. So if you are a patron of I forget which tier it was, then you'll be seeing this an hour or so after I'm recording this, which is the date. It's like early June. I don't know what the date. It's Tuesday morning, so I don't know what day that was, but it's early June. I think it's like 6th or something. I don't even know. But it's a digital commission. Oh, I guess it's not even a commission. It's just a request, really. Yeah, it's the 6th of June, 2017. Character is Nyssa of the show Arrow. Now, this show I did watch for a while until it got just too repetitive. And I just lost interest. Like, it just tried to be, it tried to do its own thing, but it didn't really, because it just felt like it was trying to copy, it was just copying Batman essentially, which is weird. I mean, like, the fact that I'm just gonna spoil it for those who aren't even, for those who wanted to watch Arrow by now. It's been a couple of years. And this is like from earlier seasons anyways. It's just, yeah, he's trying to be Batman essentially, because Nyssa is an Al Ghul, so she is Ra's al Ghul's. He's Ra's al Ghul's daughter. No, not Talia, but I don't think Talia exists in this show, but if she does, then it's in a season that I'm definitely not watching. But this is, yeah, Nyssa. I have never heard of her before. Mind you, I'm not really like big on DC and the lore and all that, but she didn't really seem like a character. She might have just been made up for the show. I don't know. But yeah, it's trying to be Batman too much, and it's weird. It's just weird. I don't know. Like, Arrow it's Batman light. I mean, essentially, when you think about it, he's kind of like Batman in a sense, just except he fights with an arrow and such. But I don't know. Then again, I'm just kind of out of it with television in general. Like, I don't really watch a lot of these superhero shows anymore. It's just, it gets too. I think the weekly, it's the episodic aspect of it that I don't really gel with too well anymore. I mean, the Netflix shows, you can say they're television and stuff, but because they're limited to their 8+ episodes, I mean, no more than 14 episodes a season, it feels a little more contained, and the stories don't feel like they have to drag out as much. They're not forced to drag it out, and because of that, I just tend to enjoy it more. I mean, I'd probably enjoy these shows more if it was done in that format also. I don't know. But I should probably speak about this drawing, right? So I use Manga Studio to draw and do my stuff now. I don't really use Photoshop often anymore, because the line tools in Manga Studio, as you can tell, are very good. I'm actually using these are vector lines, and I love it because it's just clean and crisp. Now, I decided to do this video as a time lapse rather than basically do it in real time, mainly because time-wise, a lot of it is flatting, and that is very boring to watch. Like, what you're seeing right now is flatting essentially, and the way I flat these specific pieces, I take more care in than I normally would, because they're just pinups, I guess, you know, portrait pinups especially. In comics, I tend to be a little bit more just a little, just a tad bit more loose. Like I'm not as picky. I don't do the whole selection type stuff and then invert and then flat. But it's honestly at times as well, it really depends on what I'm feeling like. If I feel like going as intense as I am here, then I will. But if I don't, like right now, I'm freeing it. You know, I'm not really. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big. Yeah, I don't like flats in general, and I've worked on projects where we could actually hire flat. Like we know a couple of the guys by we, I mean the guys at Udon. They work with a couple of flatters, and I could, you know, hire them to do my flats. But I'm very like, even though I say even though I hate doing flats, like hate them. Just that it's tedious. It's not that it's hard or anything, it's just tedious. But even though I don't enjoy doing flats, I am also very specific with how my flats are done. And because of that, I don't really, unless the flats are done exactly the way that I would do them, it's just harder for me to do it. I don't know, it's weird. I'm weird. But yeah, you're seeing me flat this piece now, and it will be the longest part of this video. It's just me doing flats. I mean, as you could tell, I mean, it is a time lapse and all, but as you could tell by watching it, doing the lines and the base lines didn't take that long at all. Shockingly too, for me, to be honest, because normally I tend to avoid doing likenesses because I just don't. I'm not very confident, and I don't really like doing it as well, to be honest. But this one here, it was surprisingly fun. I think it's because she's got such a unique look to her, and not in a way where it's easy. I don't know. It felt easier to depict the features for some reason. I don't know. I enjoyed this one. This was a fun one to do. Yeah, it was a good time. So yeah, I'm flatting now, as you can see. As I'm flatting, I do a bit of corrections to the lines as well, just because you know, when you step away from it and you can kind of spot certain things, like certain lines you want to fix up. I did the same thing to the piece. To most pieces like this, I will correct as I go along, but not to the extent of like redrawing or painting over it. It's just mainly like adjusting a line or two. And because they're done in vectors, you can get really specific with it, and I really like that aspect of it. It's one of the aspects that Photoshop doesn't have. So main flats are done, as you can see, and now I'm just doing a bit of the additional color, which is not, you know, it's not painted into the main flat layer. It's usually like on a layer above. If you're on Patreon, I'm going to be posting a walkthrough, and essentially the walkthrough will show, I guess, show it in layer by layer, really like what every layer does. So that should be fairly interesting to see, I think. But yeah, this just adding little details again, because this is a portrait shot. I mean, normally in comics and whatnot, I wouldn't, I don't think I'd go as deep into these little details that I normally would. Like all these little, this part here, the blush part, I would add in, but like all those little sections, like the cheeks, sections of the cheeks and the eyes, I would normally just leave out. But because this is a portrait shot, I'm kind of doing a little bit more detail. This section is like just, I add a bit of redness to this, pinkness, I suppose, to the skin, just to give it a bit of the blush to it, just give it a bit of life, I suppose. And this also assists in doing cell shades for me anyways. It just adds a little bit of I guess adds more depth on top of the cell shades. So And it's also just fun to do, to be honest. Like, just painting all these little things is really fun because you can help define the shape without even any shades. Like, right now you can see the definition of a nose and there's no lighting there, technically. I mean, it just, the darkness and the light sections just show the crevices of his, like, just the little details. The little details is all it's adding at this point, and it just helps it out in the end. Like right now I'm even adding more details on normally what I'm, so it's so subtle you can barely see it, to be honest. It's a freckles, because the actress has freckles. It's really specific freckles, just kind of all over. It's very subtle on her too, so I figured I'd just add a bit of subtle freckles on this picture too while I was at it. And now the eye. A while ago I used to, I made like an eye template, which I just basically would just drag into every new file, but now I just paint them in. It's just fun, I suppose. So there, as you can see, she's primarily flat. Flats are essentially done. I'm just adding little extra details here, which will probably go unnoticed, but I mean, if you're watching this step by, like this time-lapse walkthrough, you're seeing it get done, I suppose. So there's no skipping out here. Also I'm just adding some hair highlights, which I normally wouldn't add as well, but her hair gets lighter as it goes down, so figured I'd add it in. Now I'm beginning the cell shades right now, so I'm gonna go specific here, where the light is just primarily focused on yeah, just across her face really. So the top part of her head and kind of the shoulder section is in the dark, and here I'm masking away certain sections so that her hair is shaded. Normally, again, for comics I would probably just, I wouldn't use a brush. I would lasso this section out. Oh, it's raining outside now. I don't know if you can hear that, but if you do, I apologize. Just this weather's, it's kind of getting out of our way, but I'll see if I can I don't think I can remove it from the audio, so you're just gonna have to bear with it, unfortunately. But yeah, as I was saying, normally I would just, like for regular comics, for the hair anyways, I would just cell shade it out, but here, because it's more of the portrait type thing, I'll get into a little bit more detail into it, and because of that I would use the brush just to like brush the cells, I suppose, if that makes sense. See, right now, as you can see, I'm using the lasso tool. Normally I would just use that instead, but again, the brush, because it's more detailed. But I'd say, I mean, there's certain sections that I would still lasso out, just the larger sections. It's mainly just the more smaller detailed sections that I would brush instead. So yep. Yeah, just it's very specific light source. I kind of like that. I want to try more of those out. It's fun. Just lighting the eyes now. I've noticed with these time-lapse videos that 4 speed is actually a really good speed, because it's fast enough to, it's slow enough to see what I'm doing, but also fast enough to not waste too much time. And that really helps. So just then I dropped a bit of a gradient, and now I'm just adding a bit of a glow to the cell shades, just to add a bit of a little something. I think up next I'm going to do some extra highlights and shades. Yep, there we go. First I add the shadow. This is using, I forgot what my layer setting is, but it's above usually. It's one layer, which is it's essentially, yeah, it's just highlighting shades. For the larger sections I would use lasso tool as usual, but as I get more in, as you can see again, get a bit more detail, I'll use the brush. And it's it looked pretty good. Looks pretty good, I think. You can create some good lights. Like there, you can help create shape. Give shape just through that extra dark. It's neat. Alright. Every time I watch these time-lapse videos at this speed, I wish I could work this fast. That would be so good. Get so much more done, I reckon. So yeah, here's a bit more shade, and then I'm gonna add some extra shade at a lower opacity brush, just for that extra cell depth. And now obviously some shines. Nothing too strong, just a little subtle stuff. Save the file. Now add some more shades. And there we go, there's some eye detail. Some shines, more shades. I don't know, watching this is personally is not as interesting as watching traditional pieces come to life in these time-lapse videos. I don't know, because really, especially when like doing this commentary thing for, I don't really know what to explain with this. It's kind of self-explanatory. I use a lasso tool, I fill, or I use a lasso tool and I erase. That's pretty much it. At least in my head, that's what it consists of. Maybe other people might take more from this than I feel that they could, but I don't know. Who am I to say? Who am I to say? Video's almost done as well, so thank you to the patrons. Yeah, hopefully you're enjoying these videos, and for the folks in YouTube who'll be seeing this, I don't know, maybe this week, I don't know yet. I might post this week, I might post it in a month, but when you see it, cheers for watching. Yeah, cheers for watching, I reckon. Yeah. And I'm adding a bit more depth here. So yeah, that's Nyssa. Cheers.